Hey, welcome to the Town of Richmond meeting of the Water and Sewer Commission, October the 20th, 2025. Any public comments?
It's raining.
It's a good thing, isn't it? All right, no public comments other than it's raining. Not to minimize the value of that statement, but additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? Okay. Right, moving right along. Approval of minutes. So we have minutes from October the 6th, regular meeting, and minutes from October the 7th, or our special meeting.
The 7th was a little better.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will be happy to move the minutes of the 6th. I wasn't here for the 7th, so I move that we approve the minutes of the 6th.
This is David. I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? No discussion, calling for a vote. Approval of the minutes from October the...
Actually, I wasn't there for that one either. Excuse me, I was thinking of the...
David, I.
Yeah, actually, I can't move those because I got my signals crossed. I was here for the tour, but I was not here for the 6th.
You could move, but maybe not vote.
Well, okay, I'll abstain then.
David, I.
Bard, aye.
Aaron, I.
Morgan, aye. Motion passes with one abstention. Jay. Minutes from October the 7th.
This is David. Move to approve.
This is
Do I have a
Aaron, I'll
second? Aaron seconds. Discussion. There were a few spelling mistakes, but I don't think it's worth. People will understand what's so. All right, no discussion. Calling for a vote on approving of minutes from October the 7th, 2025. Please state your name and how you vote.
David, I.
Jay, abstain.
Aaron, I.
This is for the 7th. Bard, abstain.
Morgan, aye. Motion passes, 2 abstention. Okay, purchase orders. I think we've got, or no, I'm sorry. We want to do the warrants first, right?
You're right, we got purchase order.
Purchase order, okay. We have one purchase order. And it's purchase order 5010 in the revised amount of $162,400.
Yeah, and this is a purchase order we started for the 20-year study for public outreach, funding assistance, sewer use ordinance review, recommendations, and grant application assistance. The board approved additional work for wetland delineation, the survey, and a study and report. But there's still some work to be done, so the invoices are going to be coming in sort of for all of these tasks. So I figure it's easier to amend this purchase order than create a new one.
Great, good. Would anybody like to make a motion?
This is David. So moved.
Seconds?
This is Jay, I'll second.
Jay will second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Calling for a vote on approving of the purchase order 5010. Please state your name and how you like to vote.
David, I.
Jay, aye.
Aaron, I.
Bard, aye.
Morgan, aye. Motion passes. All right, and then we have a warrant number 22774 in the amount of $49,123.50 to pay our operating cost.
I move we accept the warrants as presented.
Have a second?
This is David. I'll second.
Discussion? No further discussion. Calling for a vote to approve the warrant number 22774 as presented. Please state your name and how you'd like to vote.
David, I.
Jay, aye.
Aaron, I.
Bard, aye.
Morgan, aye. Motion passes. Okay. All right. Let's see what's that. That's that. Don't say. Next up, items of presentation or discussion with those present. So follow up on our October 7th meeting regarding wastewater treatment facility, 20-year study and the pump station and force main flood mitigation study. Josh?
Sure. So I think we had a really productive meeting on October 7th, which was dedicated to the 20-year study, the pump station enforcement flood mitigation study. The first agenda item, the commission voted to approve the preliminary engineering report for the wastewater treatment facility 20-year study. I want to say thanks to Hoyle Tanner and to Steve and the crew for painstakingly going through the study and kind of trying to put into two phases, eliminate items that we can maybe do ourselves. I think did a really good job in trying to get it for the most reasonable cost possible. And now they're going to submit that final PER and we'll be on to the next steps with the engineering report for the 20-year study. We reviewed some funding options. I think we do need to come back at a future meeting to discuss that, but that'll be really important as we get close to finalizing a budget, a bond vote, which would probably be, it sounds like now, maybe not till next summer or fall. We're probably going to miss a town meeting budget vote just because, or bond vote. We don't have time to really get ready for that, but it'll be really important to have a plan for paying back that bond once we get to that stage. And then the final agenda item, there was a good discussion about the location of the pump station for the flood mitigation study, which was looking at the pump station and the force main, which is underneath the bridge, both of which are very susceptible to flooding. There was a few different locations proposed for the pump station. Two of them were across Bridge Street near the Round Church. There was significant feedback from the Historical Society members that those sites were ideal for the view shed of the Round Church, or maybe even with construction, there could potentially some concern for damages if we had to do some blasting to remove ledge. There was a proposal at the meeting from Gary Bresser to look at a property across the street and move it actually further back from the road on the same side of the street, which I think Steve and Eric and Gary followed up with the next day. So maybe we'll turn it over to you guys if you want to talk about that. And actually, Bart does have his hand up.
Go ahead, Bart.
Yeah, first, let me apologize for not having been there on the 7th. So I start with sort of a framing. What is sort of the geographical envelope in which the pump house could be put? Like, could it be put as far up as the park by the Round Church?
Any further up the hill, we have to go deeper.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's the problem where we get in front of the Round Church, where we were looking at, was that site we would have to be 35 feet deep. And to do that, it required, right by the road, it would require driving pylons to retain the sides of the bank. It
Yeah.
also would probably entail blasting. Both of those were not well received for the chance that there could be something endangering the Round Church itself.
Thank you. So we're looking for sort of the Goldilocks spot, not too low, not too high then?
Right, and what came out, so the other site down kind of in front of the water house, there's a site there, but in order for it to be there, it would have to be a structure that would be a concrete tube with a concrete platform, roughly 7 feet high. And that wasn't well received either, and I can't fault the people for not wanting a giant concrete, kind of like the one right here.
Yep.
That's kind of the artist's rendering of what it would kind of look like.
All right. Thanks for revisiting that. I appreciate it.
The other site is doing it in where we currently are, and that structure would have to come up roughly 9 feet and would kind of look like this. The problem on this site, most of the construction is going to be closing off one lane of Bridge Street. It also, you know, we've got the current pump station there, which would have to be totally demoed before we start construction. And then what do we do for pumping while this is all going on? It would mean a lot of it's doable, but there again, it is a kind of a monstrosity that would stick up in Richmond.
And it seems to me would be what we call an attractive nuisance. Kids would mess around on that.
Well, yeah, and so Gary Brassar came up with an option that none of us had really looked at, which is actually behind the current pump station up into the left, kind of there, like here. That square by the yellow is the current pump station. And then it would be located kind of up into the left side behind Mrs. Poley's house. There, it is above the 100-year floodplain, but not above the 500-year floodplain. So it would not need a generator. It would not need to stick up out of the ground more than 3 feet to get above the floodplain height where it would be located. Gary had said that the person is willing to maybe sell a piece of property there. And Gary said that he would be willing to negotiate a right of way through his property. If you look, the yellow is a floodplain, I believe, and that would require us digging through the floodplain. When we looked at this, I looked at this site with the engineer on the next day. He did not seem to be that the digging through the floodplain wasn't too big of an issue. And that this site is kind of a maybe a good alternative. I just have not been able to sit down with the landowner and Gary and Josh and I and have a meeting and see, is this a feasible option? But it would kind of get the pump station up elevated. The depth of the pump station up there would not be terrible. I think he said it would have to be like 18 feet deep to make the great gravity work there. So right now we've got to have a meeting with the landowners and see if this is actually something that we could pursue.
That John, I'm sorry, is that John Cart still?
John he still owns the property with
Lauren,
Lauren.
Yeah.
okay. Questions, anybody? Any more questions?
Morgan, it's Art. So it seems to me this is just an update, and we're in my yellow light, red light, green light. We're under a yellow light. Proceed and see if it comes to fruition or not. Does that seem like a reasonable summary?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
That's the way
I
it
mean-
should be done. But yeah, it seemed on initial investigation promising.
So the next steps are just sitting down with John then?
Yeah, I just haven't had the time to set up a meeting with it.
So
I
the
talked to John yesterday, he's out of town for a few days, but I told him I wanted to meet with him and Laura and just feel out exactly what he's willing to do before we meet with you.
Okay.
Because, I think in John's mind, the place to put it would be a little bit left of that, because he was hoping to build a very small house for himself, kind of right behind Mrs. Foley's garage. But there is, I've looked at it, I think there's room for both pretty easily. So, I don't know, to me, it being so far off the road, you know, we've all gotten used to looking at it, but it's never been an attractive feature of Bridge Street. Be nice, to put it back there and it'd be easy to screen it back there from its neighbors. And it'd be kind of nice just to not even think about it.
Yeah. So if he does a FEMA buyout, that means the house way in the back then goes away?
No,
It's just
There's two houses there.
Oh,
Which one does he have a?
His is the front house. There's a second house in the back.
So the
Oh.
buyouts for this property here?
Where?
yeah, it is for the.
The one that's in the brown?
I don't, I mean,
So it's not this parcel that has the buyout on it?
I can't see.
I can't see your pointer
Oh, so
either.
there's a there's a house here. So I get
that arrow going.
And so this is the Lonnie's house, the driveway comes up, comes around, goes in there. This is John and Lauren's house,
right here.
and it's a pretty good sized lot. And so I think the way to do it is to, I didn't know he was still going for the buyout. He is.
But that's the house.
Subdivision first.
Yeah,
Break
so,
up piece.
so that would be, but that's the house of the property, so it would be
Yeah.
a subdivision to buy out that part. Yeah, my understanding with the application right now, it's still under review.
Would he have to refile if we carved off a piece?
I don't know.
That's just the kind of mindless bureaucracies that could trip things up, but
Yeah, it would be. I'll ask if they're still working. I'll ask the reps, although I think they're state reps that might be able to answer that question for us. But that's a good question, because how would we negotiate that or navigate it?
but that said, if John's willing, yeah.
Yeah,
So, and then there's still a question. Do we still need to work with is it Polly?
Well, by staying on my land behind the 50 by 50 foot current location, I was hoping we could avoid digging up Mrs. Foley's at all, just go around that property, because she has flowers and bushes that right along the road there that she cares a lot about.
The only thing we would still need is the right of way, and that right of way belongs to John.
The first part of the right of way is Mrs. Polly's,
But
but John has the right of way to use it, and then the Lonnie's have the right of way to use it too.
right,
But, yeah, and when John and I were out there originally looking at that, Mrs. Polly came out and we talked about it, and I don't wanna speak for her, it seemed like she was happy to. not have it.
she also came out and talked, with Eric and I when we were back there looking
Okay.
around. And she didn't seem opposed to it.
Okay.
But further discussion if.
Right, yeah.
Okay, good. Mary?
Yes, Mary Holt. Mrs. Poley Marie has contacted me a couple of times related to this issue. And my personal opinion is that she felt like she was being pushed around. John and whoever else may have access, but Marie owns the property that they have a right of way through.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
We never disputed that, Mary.
No, well, I'm just listening to what just went on here.
Right.
John, I could care less about the two people back there because they didn't contact me and they don't own the land. They have a right to access on that road.
Right,
And that is a private road, which is 100% owned by Marie.
Right.
Thank you.
And they have ingress and egress is what they have.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I look at the blue line though, that passes probably beyond that section that is her road, I would guess.
The blue part, is-
so this is the right of way right here,
Yep,
okay? And this is Mrs. Polly's lot.
right.
This is, and the reason that we did it like this is to avoid having any digging or anything or easement through her property.
Right.
The only easement that would end up being through her property is the access, the new pump station property.
Oh, so we would not put in a road. We're just digging and putting in ingress or influent effluent line.
Correct.
Oh, so that's the other, so we have to negotiate having some sort of right of ingress and egress on that road to service that.
Yep, exactly. But you would, of course, have final say over
Right.
whether we could or not.
Right, right. How often did you think we would have to service that back there? Well, just,
I mean,
just a ballpark.
I mean, we would have to access it, you know, a couple of times a week, just drive back, check, make sure everything's
Okay.
working and everything, but as far as, you know, we've gone a year without having to do anything to the,
Right.
you know, the one that hasn't flooded. So if we're protecting everything, you know, making it up out of the floodplain, getting it sealed, getting everything raised up and out of the way, I mean, essentially, and would only, you know, if we had a problem with the pump or something, we would have to access it.
Okay,
I mean, there would be a, you know, a couple times a week, we would make sure to check and make sure everything's working right, but essentially, you know, only, you know, once a year, maybe, we'd pull the pumps and clean them, put them back down.
okay. So we have further discussion with John and Lauren and as well as Miss Polly.
Yeah. And Gary
And
Brass.
Gary, that's right. Seems like Gary has given us maybe a nod that,
Well, I appreciate
yeah,
the footwork.
I mean, I really don't want to put a concrete monstrosity on Bridge Street. If I can find an alternative to it.
Unless we get like radiate to decorate it.
Yeah. But then you're limited to what you can do.
No, I hear you.
Because it's in a floodplain.
Right.
I was thinking you can make it look like an old well with the bucket that you lowered down and then paint it up a little.
Well, you know, a lot of oil
Well,
wells around the country are actually hidden inside fake houses.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Any,
So the long and the short, Bard, we're looking at one more option for the pump station.
all right.
Question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary, go.
So not related to that as much as what's needs to be done from the current location across the bridge? Are you putting a new line from just at the bridge across, or are you going?
We're trying to solve the problem with the low hanging one on the bridge. It may entail having to bring a new line somewhere else on the bridge. We don't know what we'll have to do there.
But most of the line from the pump station to where it surfaces at the bridge will not have to be dug up again?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I don't know. They haven't
Yeah.
said what they would have to do there.
Okay, just curious.
It depends on, you know, what they've got to do to make the angle right to wherever they can decide that we can safely put it on the bridge.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, no further discussion, questions? Next, review request for the property owner of 205 Jericho Road in return for an easement that the town needs for Tilden Avenue, Bridge Street, Cochran Road waterline replacement project.
Here ever.
So this has to do with the need to move the water line from around Millet Street.
Basically, at the head of Millet, where we're coming down Tilden,
Right,
there is a lot of infrastructure in the roadway.
okay,
To make it easier for construction, Tyler designed it to bump out around all of the stormwater, all of the, everything that is in there. And bring it back in to the right of way on the other side. I think it's a 20-foot by 100 and some odd feet long right of way. That piece of property is owned by Sasha.
KJ,
Yeah. And that piece of, what they are asking for is a sewer hookup and a water curb stop to the property where the camper currently is,
Right.
which goes all the way up around to, I guess, the correct address for it is 205 Jericho Road, which is hard to believe
Right.
since when you go up and look where 205 is, yeah,
It's a gully.
yeah, it is.
Up straight down.
So there is, and for future, possibly future expansion there of housing.
And here's a look, just, it's not showing so on the screen here, but you can see, so 205 Jericho Road is, see if I can draw, is this one here. It has road frontage here on Jericho Road and then down the corner on Tilden. And then they also own this one here, 72. So that's what they're asking for, I think, what, 2 curb stops on
Well,
72?
at 72, they're asking for an additional curb stop
That's right.
because behind their house, they thought they might put auxiliary dwelling.
ADUs, yeah.
And that's fine. The more extensive one is the one up on the
Jericho.
Tilden, the 205 Jericho Road one. That one, they're not looking for just a curb stop, they're looking for a sewer hookup too. And that is, I mean, that would be additional digging. I mean, not a lot probably, because we're right there. But it would be, you know, additional than just putting the water line through and giving them a curb stop. It would mean digging to the sewer, putting a corp in, and then putting a stub back onto the property.
Right. Bard?
In the memo, Josh, are these bullet points cut and pasted from a communication from the property owners?
Yeah.
The bullet points initially are from the property owners, and
Yeah.
then the cost estimates are from Tyler Billingsley, the project engineer. And as I look at that, I would want to confirm that the sewer is on there, because Tyler talked about the 3/4 inch service, the 1 inch service. So I want to make sure that you got the sewer, but right now he's estimating about $5,000, and I'll confirm if the sewer is included.
I cannot, can I go? I cannot believe that it is based on the figure we've heard elsewhere. So I'm just going to revisit what's in there. Replace the existing water and sewer hookups at 72 Tilden. One of them is already in scope of the property. The sewage is not, right? So that would be an additional cost for a sewer.
Are they asking for an additional sewer hookup onto?
That's what it says. I'm just reading what they wrote.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't.
No, it does, yeah.
Then they said add a water sewer hookup on 205 Jericho. When I look at the topography of that, does that all work going uphill? Like, is that going to present any problems if you do it down at the bottom of the hill of 205 with the intent of serving the top of the hill of 205?
I don't believe their intent is, if you look at, I don't know where there's even an access on 205 up on Jericho Road. It's literally like this.
I don't think there is one.
Huh?
I don't think there is one.
Right, but the Tilden is flat and there is some space out in the back there. Accessing it from Tilden.
Okay, so that they don't care about the top. All right, that
I'm not speaking for them, but I just physically, I don't see how they could do anything over on the Jericho side.
Okay. Then I'm further reading. They're not sure how many they would build, so they're talking about 1 to 3 ADUs. My recollection of the law and zoning is currently 1 ADU per lot.
That's my understanding too.
So that's just, I'm not sure they've investigated this. I don't know if they mean, because they refer to both 72 and 205, But if
Right.
they're talking about a larger pipe at 205, it's not an ADU. It would be a new residential building of 1
Correct.
to 3 units.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked with them and they proposed some of this, they were real vague on what they wanted to do. I told them that the 72 law, you know, is fine. Two curb stops, we will do that. That's fine. The other one, they wanted to speak with Tyler, so Tyler talked with them, but I thought that they were real vague on what they wanted to do and understanding of the zoning laws.
So I'm going to have another question. This relates to another topic. As I understand the mechanics of the new water connections, there's a corporation stop at the main. Then
Yep.
there's tubing that goes to a box and a curb stop. And then
Yep.
there's a private service line that goes from there, right?
Yep, right.
All of
So,
everything from the corporation on the main belongs to the customer. That pigtail, what they used to call a pigtail from the corporation to the curb stop, belongs to the customer. We own the curb stop.
so this is relevant to my question. Is it possible, both here and in other properties along Tilden, to just put in the corporation stop, turn the valve off there and bury it? And then if and when a property owner wants to put the tubing, the curb stop box, and a line in, all that would be done at a future date. Is that a possible approach?
It is, but I would, if you're going to go back to the main, then I wouldn't even bother with the corporation right now. Because you do life tapping on all the mains anyway. And you're not gaining anything by going up. If you put a corporation on now and you turn it off, you're not gaining anything. You've got to dig back there to the main, dig up the road. This is the idea of the curb stops. We're trying to get out of the digging back into the travel lane.
Okay. Well,
So-
you just bumped up. Until yesterday, the conversations have been about $500 per person. And at least two of my neighbors said, how'd it go from $500 to $1,500? And I get it, but it's not what people thought that they were in for until yesterday.
Because that was the estimate that we got from Tyler when we asked for the additional curb stops.
Right.
It was about 1,500 when you
Right.
add it all up. So that's why I put the letter. So that's the letter that Bart's referring to.
Right.
We got. So
So people thought that they were just going to get the corporation, deal with the main, the connection to the main. That would be dug up and it would be less excavation to just connect to it with a curb stop and service line. But if that's not feasible, we need to explain, I think, what the difference of 500 and 1,500 is and why it doesn't make sense to do the corporation only.
If you're digging back to the main anyway, you can do a live tap. They do them all the time. Gary did two last summer. The guy, you know, there's a price involved, but it's not outrageous. And I told you, I showed you how they put a tool on and they put a hole in the line and, they do it. So you're not gaining anything if you're already going to have to dig back to the whole idea of coming out with a curb stop was to get out of the travel lane.
I get it. And so the only point though is I think what I perceive is people like me were, oh, for $500, if it makes sense to put $500 now and it saves money later. $1,500, you start to get towards real money. And if you don't know that you're going to build an ADU or something else, I think it's a tipping point. You wouldn't do anything now. That's my real point here. And my other point is, for all of these connections, I want to make sure their proposal for water and sewer, that we're clear about each one and how much each one would be, including curb stops, of which presumably there are 2, or actually 3, if they want an extra one on 72, a new one on 72, a new one on 205, a replacement on 72, replacement sewer on 72, new sewer on 72, and new sewer on 205. All those things to me got to add up to be more than $5,000.
I'll agree.
So if I could just, well, actually, I'm sorry, go ahead. Bard, did we answer your question?
Yeah. I think we actually should communicate again the next time we send out a bill to clarify the 1,500, 500, and that people could choose to just excavate and connect to the water line in the future at arguably a comparable cost. There's no big cost savings that I can picture here.
Yeah. Okay. Mary?
Yeah, Mary Hull, thank you. The person you were talking about constructing an ADU, they can do it with zoning if the ADU is a larger percentage and the ADU becomes their primary and then the primary becomes the ADU, it'll flip. It has to do with the percentage of space, like, if, let's just say the new unit's gonna be 3,000 square feet and the existing is 1,000, then they can flip. Because the larger one, it
Right.
has to be the primary. And if they have 3,000, say it's a triplex, which they could do, and call the old residence the ADU, 3,000 in the triplex, 1,000 in the primary, it can be done.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
Not 3 individual
But
physical units.
they're
Yeah,
asking,
but the one that you guys were referring to, forgive me, I don't
Yeah.
remember the number, but
yeah, but
it
The-
cannot be denied for zoning if they
no, we didn't
identify
say that.
the site.
But they're asking for a lot that has no structures on it right now. And they were thinking that they would put 3 ADUs on it. And I don't think,
No,
They-
you're right. The only way they
Right.
can do it is it has to be one structure.
right,
But Vermont law says thou shalt be able to put an ADU on a
Yeah.
lot, especially a village lot where water and sewer is
Right.
available. Not out in the hinterland where, it has to go through Act 250 and all the other stuff. Thank you.
Right.
I think we need to go back, because there are good questions about the total cost and the sewer, make sure the town.
Yeah.
Including that, so we can bring this back to the next meeting with some better numbers.
Yeah.
Sorry for not having better numbers right now.
No,
One
that's
other
okay.
point I'd make, when we get that number, which I'm going to guess is going to be closer to $10,000 than $5,000, I'd like to know what the alternative is to stay in the right of way and not do the easement and not spend $10,000 on those additional elements.
Or just go back and say, we'll give you water. And they-
Well, I really want to know when we say it's too expensive, too tedious to do it because there's all this other stuff. Well,
yeah,
we weren't told it
clarify
was
that.
impossible. We were told it would be difficult and expensive. So my benchmark is expensive compared to 10,000.
okay, gotcha. And my discussion with Tyler was, it was not impossible to do. But it would make it much easier not to.
Okay, well, let's see what the number is. I mean, if it's,
Yep.
if it's
Yeah.
$15,000, it might be worth doing it.
Right.
If it's $150,000, it might be
Yeah.
worth the 10,000 on the easement.
Or-
Yeah,
I mean-
exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Or come back to the property owners and say, we can't afford to do the sewer, but we're willing to work with you on water connections.
And I think, but we'll still want to know the total cost of going in the road, so we know if
Right.
we need to negotiate with the.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a
Yeah.
good point, because we might still get away with it for less, if
That's
they're
fair.
willing to agree to less.
You know, sounds good.
That's
Be
reasonable.
clear. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you. Next up. Oh, yeah. How many easements do we have outstanding?
13 of 21.
So we're at sort of stuck on 13. huh?
Yeah,
We're about there, yeah.
I truthfully, I haven't had time to go knock on doors and bang on people's houses.
Well, I'm
but-
sorry. If you can make a little bit of time tomorrow and just shoot me who on Tilden has not.
Okay, that's easy. I've
And-
got that list.
Do you have a spreadsheet?
Yeah,
Can you maybe just send it in the copy of me too?
Okay.
I know who
I'll
we
include
got
you
left.
both.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
then
helpful.
I can try to figure out is,
there's not many, and truthfully, I've knocked on a lot of the doors. There's the neighbor to Sasha that
oh, Scott?
he works nights or something and sleeps, and we've never been able to raise him.
Have to put a note on his car.
We've done that.
Scott Nickerson. Yeah, I need to get another thing from him as well. I haven't heard back from.
Yeah, I think you said.
Yeah, we have a quick claim deed I need still to get from him.
Okay.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
try to keep reaching out to him.
That's one that's a issue.
All right. Well, I don't know if I can help you with it. I'll try. So anyway, just shoot that to me and I'll see
Okay.
if I can help
Yep.
out. It could be a matter of just people not being able to get to a notary and we can figure that one out maybe. Any other questions? Easements? Nope. Update regarding online water accounts for customers to track water usage. I did it.
Did it work for you?
Yeah. Wow. Works.
Okay. Yay.
Yeah.
I truthfully haven't accessed it, so I don't know. Josh had some issues with the town center account. And I did reach out to Zenner and I hadn't heard back. I didn't,
Yeah, I think I asked you today about those.
you asked me about that this afternoon and I reached out to him, but I hadn't gotten back from him. But I've had a couple of people that say they've accessed it, it worked great. They thought it was good.
No leaks.
I will tell you that we had the Baker building has a new tenant, and all of a sudden they were using 150 gallons an hour,
What kind of tenants?
and it went like boom. And then it went down and it stayed down a couple days and then it went boom. So I called the owner and said, "Hey, you got a new tenant?" He's like, "Yeah." I says, "Do they have a problem with their water?" He's like, "No, we turned the water on in the office. Everything seemed to be running. It was running." I says, "Did it stop running?" He said, "No." "Do I need to change my toilet?" And I said, "I think I would start there." He put a new toilet in and I think, but that goes to show you that a toilet that is running can use 150 gallons an hour. I mean, that's a lot of water for,
It's a lot of Starbucks coffee. So
yeah.
it's my metric.
So here's a look at, this is the town center's account, so this is what customers see when they get into it, so you can see, click it by the month, you can get into, and click in October, look at the week, and then look at the actual by day, look at where your usage was, and you can even get into by hour, what was going on.
And that edit leak alert thing, is that, you can say if I'm using more than this number of gallons per hour, send me a text or
Oh, yes.
I-
Oh, it says it's a feature coming soon.
coming soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that we had some questions about, because if you looked into this, there's some.
Yeah, we've got some questions with them
Like,
that we,
What is an email notification? You sign up, like, we need to get more information. on What are you
Right.
getting in that notification and when do you
and,
get it?
and honestly, Brad has been on spearheading that whole,
Okay.
thing.
But the good thing is, people should sign up for this, get their email address in there, because as we get updates, we can email everybody that we have an account for and get really quick communication with folks. So,
Mhm.
that would be the way we would get out information about the leak update.
For the most part, everybody that I've talked to that has accessed it has been happy.
Right.
I haven't seen too many upset customers from it.
Good.
And
Good.
the rollout seemed pretty easy. The form,
Yep.
scan the code, put the code in or you know, everything seemed okay.
Well, thank you to you and Brad. I know you
It mostly was Brad on that
you
one.
guys hand wrote in all the account information individually for each bill, so appreciate that attention to detail to make
Yeah.
that happen,
Yep.
and that means that hopefully. it's
Well,
smooth.
you needed the meter.
Yeah.
And you needed the account number, and they had to be the right ones.
It's just, I know it took some
Yeah.
manual time to do that, so thank you for doing it.
Yeah, make sure you tell Brad, thank you for us. Okay.
It was a joint, all of us worked on it, but,
Right.
yeah, Brad has been working with Zenner to get that rollout working.
All right, next up, update on operation of well and discussion regarding if there needs to be further water conservation due to drought.
I just think we should conserve, for the most part. I will tell you that I found out after the conservation measures were enacted, that they hired Bolton to water the trees.
So we're talking about pickleball courts and water. That was getting installed.
Right.
They were getting installed the same day that the conservation notice went out. Initially I asked our fire department what they thought they could do. They have a tank of water in the fire station. They thought, oh, if we use water off of the truck right now, we can replenish with the tank and we won't refill the tank in the station until we're off the conservation notice. But they couldn't find anybody to drive the truck, so they reached out to Bolton. Jerry told me, oh, Bolton will come up and help water the trees. I got up there Thursday afternoon and my parents up there with the truck saying, oh, no, I got time, I'm here. So he took care of it that day, and I think he came back one more day, but he didn't run the water from the tank into the station
No.
until after the notice. And then going from that point forward, I think they were able to wait until the end of the notice, maybe to water again.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that, I don't think Bolton ever actually arrived.
Okay, but anyway, they got water
Yeah.
and I think the trees are all alive.
I was up there yesterday, they looked good to my untrained eye, well.
Yeah.
Plenty of rain today, so good, okay. I agree, I think we should.
So
continue conservation.
for the most part, the well has been operating normally. It was just that one freak day that something happened.
And we never did find out what.
No, and you know, like when I got there that morning, it was pumping 90 gallons a minute and everything was like normal. There was no everything was normal. But it had been pumping all night and it was lower than when at 6 o'clock the night before. And it should somewhere a tremendous amount of water went, and I don't know where it went. If it truly was pumping all that time,
Okay,
which everything shows was pumping.
okay. Comments, so maybe we should just say, please conserve until nobody's hurt.
I have
Nobody's taking
I have
showers.
turned away, we have a lot of small homeowners that come with 200 gallons containers to get water for their well. We have several that are regulars. I mean, we have one guy that comes every week. We have others that come maybe once or twice a month. Those people we're still selling water to. I did turn away bulk water haulers. They came looking for 8,000 gallons the other day and were filling a swimming pool. And I said, I'm
October.
sorry, you need to. Huh?
No,
In
are
October.
they going to Florida?
No, somebody just put in a brand new pool and they wanted it full for
Oh.
winter.
Right,
So I turned them away. If it had been for a well or something, I might not have, but I just erred on the side of caution. You know, I
people
don't-
should be very sensitive to that. We're
Yeah.
still not out of the woods.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks. Okay, thank you.
It's wonderful when you have water and it's not so great when you don't.
No, it's good. Last up, questions? No questions. Last up, Dave, report on the facility.
So the plant is, we've handled a tremendous amount of septage for this month. I think we're on par to be in the 800,000 gallon range. It has been very hard for us to get Chittenden Solid Waste District to get our trailer dumped. I've had to shut down 2 days, 3 days actually, because we couldn't get the trailer dumped on days that we wanted it. It's the nature of the beast. We put in, I'm very good at scheduling and knowing how much we need and, it's just, we've been filling a trailer a lot faster than normal. So we have that. They're doing a project, and I haven't told you, they're doing a project up on, the Waterbury Dam, where they are washings, part of the dam and part of the spillway. They have been prohibited, the company that's doing it was prohibited to do it because of the drought conditions. And now the state in their infinite wisdom have asked them to do it. So they have to do it in a 2-week time frame.
But it's an earthen dam. How do you wash it?
It's the spillway, I guess, that
Oh,
it's concrete. I don't know. They have two what are called fracking tanks.
Okay.
So they're washing it, collecting all of the water. Then they're putting it through a carbon filter. And then they're putting it into the second frac tank, which they're gonna pump out of. Problem is, they have to make sure that that second frac tank is completely empty at the end of the day because they don't have ability to heat it all. So they've asked us, Montpelier is taking the most of it, but they've asked us to take 8,000 gallons a day. And it's supposed, I've seen the test results. After it goes through a carbon filter, it is essentially almost pure water with a little bit of solids. And I told them that we would charge septage rates and they were fine with it. So
I didn't know that was a thing you had to do, but okay.
I don't know what the details of the dam.
Oh, it's all
washing-
good.
That's the company called and asked, hey, we were told you might be able to help us. Mary?
It's possible that they're scouring it, like, for some sort of, not mold, but whatever's growing over in Lake Iroquois. Those kinds of things may build up behind it and to, stop it before it gets further. They put it through all the filters after they scour it.
Yeah.
But, it's like a pressure wash.
That makes sense. I was
Yeah.
like, what are they trying to wash?
It's an
All
environment.
of the carbon filter stuff is being trucked out of state to a landfill. It's not even going in our landfill, so. And essentially it's just water, but they can't dump it back into the stream because the state won't let them, so they have to dispose of it somewhere. So I told them we'd take 8,000 gallons. They're fine with it.
Okay, well, cool.
We've got about 80% of our new influent pump here. The part we haven't got is the pump in the motor. It is on its way here, though. They had some problems getting it through BABA compliance and making sure everything was right. That got done. They got it prepped. They got it tested. It passed all the tests for Hoyle Tanner and she okayed it and it's on its way here. We have demoed the old pump is out of there. And we are in the process of getting the new one set up and ready to go in. And then we'll have to get electrician here to do the hookup and stuff. And
Is the old pump the one you're using as a mailbox?
no, that's the old pump. That was the first one we took out. Yeah. So we're working on that project. We have switched the aeration tanks back to the original old one, drained this one. We're in the process of changing all the diffusers and we'll have that all done and ready to go. We're just picking away. I want to really say that Erin Kelly, our new hire, is fantastic. She has been so good picking up as far as learning stuff. She is she
She's
is,
still doing the local
wait-
lab work, right?
yeah, and she is way ahead on anything we need done. She is willing to, I mean, granted, some stuff is not in her wheelhouse, but she is willing and right there with the rest of us, making things happen. And she is just fantastic addition to the crew.
Is she studying for any of the certifications yet?
She is in class right now for water and she is actually she feels comfortable and signed up for a test at the beginning of November for her water license. So you know, we'll see where she goes from there. Mike will be taking his distribution water license and he will be finished with his water apprenticeship and we'll get him started on his wastewater apprenticeship.
Okay, great.
But
Terrific.
yeah, Erin is really, she's fit in really well with everybody at the plant and she's just phenomenal.
Okay,
Been a good asset.
we need to wrap up here, Steve, so. That, okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good report, actually, so.
No, that's very heartening.
All right, well, next meeting, agenda items. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
May I just take a 3-minute opportunity to talk about, or even 1 minute, to talk about how wonderful the water sewer were to help us with the pickleball courts. They put in a new line. We now have a faucet up there and they jumped and jumped higher and jumped higher. Everything we had, they were right there and they made things happen so that we could plant the trees on the day that we did.
Great, okay, thank you very much. For next meeting, do we want to start thinking about revisiting the spreadsheet for bond payments? I mean, it's complicated, it's a lot of, and people are gonna have, everybody on the commission is gonna have different sort of feelings about.
Yeah, we can take a look at that again. Do you want to see if
I think Aiden would be,
Aiden can be there?
yeah, because he can
He's
just,
really good with
he
it.
can, yeah, we're like,
He's the one that needs to
the
explain.
blind leading the blind, right?
Let me see if he can attend. If he can, you want to consider a 5:30 start just to kind of, you know, because it could take some time to go.
An
through
hour.
Mondays. Yeah.
Yes.
We should.
Morgan, you won't be here for the next.
I won't
wanna-
be, no, it's
When
up
you're
to
not
you.
here.
I have been going through it.
Okay.
Should we wait till the next meeting in November if you can be here?
It's up to everybody. I mean, I feel pretty comfortable. Well, yeah, let's wait till the next one.
Okay,
I think that's fair enough.
That gives Aiden some time too to get the schedule together.
Yes, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that's a
but-
good idea.
But I mean, it's something that could take several meetings for everybody to get comfortable with the inputs and, you know, and feedback from everybody. Because I know we'll all have a different sort of approach on that.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we'll follow up on the easement and we'll follow up on pump station location. We'll probably have water numbers from October.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Thanks. All right, thanks, everybody.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
all right. Please state your name and how you want to vote.
David, I.
Say aye.
Aaron, I.
Bart, aye. Morgan, aye. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.